Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and I honestly feel like this video is so long overdue. And the reason for that is because, obviously this is what my entire channel is about, where I talk about, J-dramas and the occasional, Asian dramas here on my channel, but there's an obvious preference for J-dramas. And I realized that it's something that I've always wanted to do or talk about, but I've never really sat down and did it, or even like just took notes or anything like that for me to absolutely just pinpoint very specific things as to why I prefer this genre or why I go back to this particular niche in general. But certain things triggered why I ended up, just doing this now. And one of which is this ongoing discourse about, the whole J-drama, K-drama thing, which I feel like has been ongoing for years now. And one of the things that I noticed about the arguments is that people kept on sort of just pushing out recommendations to opposing parties, but not really giving reasons as to why they should check things out. And I think just generally, even if you do that, you really wouldn't be able to like force someone to try something out if they just don't want to. So for me, like, there's no way this discourse is going to end, so might as well just stick to a lane that you're comfortable with. And if you really want to express your support for a certain genre or niche, then just, I don't know, just talk about why you like it in the first place. And that's sort of like trickled down to why I'm making this video today. This video isn't meant to say that, J-drama is supreme, anything like that, that it's better than, K-dramas or other Asian dramas, because I personally also enjoy dramas from other countries. It's just that, I don't usually just make videos about them or talk about them or anything like that. And it's because, I don't know, again, it just falls down to personal preference. First, I absolutely love J-dramas and its ingenuity. You just never run out of like ideas or tropes or arcs or anything like that. And it's not necessarily like a good thing all the time, because there are honestly very weird plot lines out there. There are some that I personally can't handle. There are just some that I personally think, like, why is this even a thing? And absolutely, like, I don't 100% agree with every single thing that's being pushed out there as, J-drama content. But at the same time, this level of ingenuity, it also allows viewers to have this, like, mindset in a way as to what they prefer, or if they want to sort of like explore the appeal of this particular genre, and for them to understand why it's made and why some people are drawn to it. So I feel like it's really more of like having these types of options and allowing yourself to build your own opinion based on this particular genre or niche or TV trope that you're looking into. Again, it's not 100% like set. And definitely there are weird ones out there, even if it presents itself as simply as, rom-coms or I don't know, but there's bound to be like a weird plot line in there somewhere. But again, it also allows you a lot of room for either, if you want something to really like exercise your brain with or anything like that, if you just want something simplistic, or if you're a complicated being who wants to explore, I don't know, the weirdness of it all, then you have that option. It's like there's a storyline for almost every single thing that you can think of. And again, it's not 100% good, it's not 100% perfect or anything like that, but it is an option that J-dramas allow viewers to have. Next up would be, no matter how silly something is in terms of like a J-drama plotline, there's bound to be a lesson in there somewhere. Now, again, I talked about ingenuity earlier, but then for this one, it's really more of like the more mainstream ones, I would say, where no matter how crazy a plot line is or anything like that, there are bound to be like sub storylines or something like that that makes you think in a way, but not in a way that it would boggle your mind completely. But it's really more of like it taps into something in you that's very raw and instinctual that I feel like, sort of like enhances the genre. And funnily enough, like it's even if there are certain like formulas to character tropes or to certain narratives, because of, again, going back to Ingenuity, J-dramas sometimes have this thing where you think you know what's going to happen, but that's not how it's going to happen, which I absolutely enjoy because, again, there's really something about, there's something comforting about a formulaic narrative, especially, if you just want to relax or anything like that. Knowing what to expect is scientifically proven to relax a person, especially, if they're having episodes of being anxious or anything like that about an unpredictable thing. But then again, like sometimes if you're looking for something new and fresh to watch, having a certain formula to something is also makes a storyline kind of stale. And for J-dramas, usually, like, you'll find something weird or different or unexpected in each of the dramas. And I don't know, like, if you're looking for something fresh and anything like that, then you're bound to get it somehow. Now, speaking of, the storyline itself, I also like the longevity of J-dramas when it comes to episodes. And it's because I wouldn't say that I have a short attention span, because obviously I binge watch shows and anything like that. It's just that sometimes, and this is very glaring, especially for Western TV dramas, where if something goes so long, it usually like tries to exhaust every single thing that it can, to the point that it strips the narrative raw in a way, and in a very bad way. But for J-dramas, I feel like there are narratives, obviously, that feels very rushed, or that feels like you need more of it for the story to feel whole in a way. But and considering that, Asian dramas in general, it's very rare that you get seasons 2, 3, whatever, unlike Western dramas where it's very much dependent on ratings and stuff like that. But for Asian dramas, as soon as you finish, say, an 8 to 13 episode type of drama, then there's nothing next. But what I like about it is, number one, it's able to condense these stories without necessarily the need to like put too much sub storylines in there to make it work. So usually you have a big story arc right there, and it's the story that it's trying to tell, and you do have side characters that are interesting in their own way, but not necessarily to the point that you enjoy a sub storyline more than the main storyline. And I think J-dramas really excel in that idea, in a way that it's able to tell stories and conclude and wrap up certain stories, despite the fact that it has lesser episodes as compared to like other Asian dramas, in a way, or even Western dramas in a way. So, the thing that I absolutely like about J-dramas is the fact that characters feel like people and they look like people. Now, what do I mean by that? I guess I'm mostly referring to wardrobes, and at the same time, like how houses or their spaces are presented. It feels normal and relatable, even if you know for a fact that these are branded clothes for sure. But the way they're styled, the way that even the houses are designed in a way, rooms, and these kinds of things, like no matter how ridiculous a storyline gets, the characters themselves feel human. Like they dress human, they dress normally, they dress with shirts and tracksuits and anything at home, and it's not like a flashy type of thing, or it's not all very bright pastely colors or anything like that. Even the way that whenever they're wearing winter clothes, like there's a certain level of, there's layering involved happening or something like that, but it's not something that looks like you can see in a fashion magazine or anything like that. So for me personally, like I prefer that because it helps me relate to the character more. It helps me see them in the setting that I'm supposed to see them in. But I feel like J-dramas give me that level of relatability wardrobe wise, and that's why I like the warmth of the vibe of the entire thing. Speaking of warmth, now this is a thing that I feel like J-drama fans know or have noticed, that freaking orange filter. Something that's present in almost all J-dramas and J-movies. And like as much as it's not exactly like the nicest thing, personally, like orange filter or not, J-dramas also have a sense of grittiness in it when it comes to cinematography. Like it's not all crisp or anything like that, and I feel like it doesn't have anything to do with equipment or anything like that, because in live action films of, say, very anime-esque type of movies, they can make it work, that sort of like huge high contrast, very well lit type of productions. Like they're able to do with that very crisp HD, like vivid colors type of thing when it comes to cinematography. But in terms of just dramas in general or films where it needs to be normal feeling, again in line with the wardrobe and the vibe of the characters or anything like that, it feels like the real world in a way. It mimics the world that we move in because of its certain not really flatness, I would say, but again, the certain rawness and grittiness in the way that it's filmed is something that is actually personally comforting for me. And I feel like that also adds up to more reasons as to why I like J-dramas more, is because they give me that. There's just something about it that feels very, again, very warm, and not just because of the orange filter, but there's a certain warmth to it that's easy to tap into. Again, if you're a very immersive viewer, I feel like that's something that you totally understand in a way. And I don't know, like I personally think that I get disillusioned easily whenever I'm watching like a certain dramatic scene or anything like that that's too flashy in my opinion. Now, I'm definitely a sucker for like good cinematography or anything like that, that's why I'm very particular with framing and lighting and use of colors and anything like that. But yeah, I feel like when it comes to like the entire vibe of it all, I also take into account, how seeing it makes me feel. Because again, I feel like as a very visual person, that's like how I relate to what I'm watching more. So there's that. Lastly, I feel like in J-dramas, open-ended endings are, even way before open-ended endings are such a thing for like now Western media and anything like that. Like nowadays, that kind of ending is like has gone mainstream, I guess. But even before, J-dramas already provide that kind of thing where it's obviously like people love a good conclusion. There are certain storylines that I feel like J-dramas are really good in delivering these types of things, is when a certain J-drama ends at this very like wistful note that allows the viewers to think more about what they've seen rather than them being fed like a complete happy ending in a way. And it's something that's been there ever since. Like it's not something that just popped up because that suddenly became the norm. But I don't know, like there's just something about it that, completes this journey with a viewer and letting them think about, how a certain storyline contributed to this particular ending that still allows a little bit more freedom for where the characters would be going after. Wrap things up, I think what I want to say is that even if someone shoves something down your throat about preferences, say here in the Philippines, K-dramas and K-pop, it's out there. Like, it's inevitable that you wouldn't know a K-drama or something about K-pop or anything like that because of how popular it is here and obviously the entire world. But it's personally something that I've never really gotten into, even if, you know, I've enjoyed like a couple here and there. But I always go back to, you know, J-dramas and J-music simply because I want to. So it's a first-hand experience of knowing, you know, that no matter how much you try to push something to a person, or no matter how much it's presented to a person out there, if they still prefer something else, chances are you'll never bait them into it. And it's a good thing if you do and they actually enjoy it. But if they simply just don't want anything to do with it, then there's no use. So I don't know, like, I feel like that's the reason why I also wanted to make this video, is because I personally, you know, I have had friends who are into K stuff, C stuff, anything like that, and I've tried to like dip my toes into some of them and enjoy them, but I always go back to this. So I know that feeling of, you know, preferring something because of your personal reasons. And yeah, I feel like that's basically the bottom line, is just, you know, I felt like the discourse is a bit tired at this point, and it's more of like letting people enjoy the things that they enjoy, as long as it's not impeding on anyone's, you know, happiness and just all these things. But yeah, now with that said, tell me down in the comments below, like, what Asian dramas do you prefer? Do you also like J-dramas or anything like that? What are the things that you like about the niche or the genre that you personally love and prefer and put at the top of your list? So I'd love to hear more about that down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and looking forward to seeing you again soon in a new one.